Hi, welcome back to my channel Skills at Go and welcome to Java programming tutorial. In this video we will learn what is overriding and what is overloading and what are their differences. So let's go to a definition of overriding. Overriding is nothing but giving a specific implementation to the inherited methods in the child classes. So for overriding we need a base class and a child class. So overriding happens between base class and inherited classes. And if you see overloading concept, the ability to give a method name as same. So we can have a different methods with the same name, but there is a difference in arguments. That is called overloading, and it happens in one class. It doesn't require any base class or child class. In one class we can have any number of methods with the same name but with different arguments. So let's see an example for overriding. So here you see there is a class parent and it has method 1 and method 2, and we are printing parent method 1, parent method 2, and we have a child class which extends parent, and we have method 3 in child. Suppose if you create an instance of child and try to access method 1, then child doesn't have a method 1 implementation. It automatically calls parents method 1 and it will print parent method 1. So here the overriding comes into picture. Suppose child also should have an implementation for method 1, then what needs to be done? Then child also can create a method 1 inside child class and it can have its own implementation. First let's create a child instance. Let's create a main method. So inside this we will have an instance of child class c1 equal to new child. So now if you try to access any methods, so it is showing method 1, method 2, method 3. Let's call method 1. So now if you call a method 1, child doesn't have a method 1 implementation. So it automatically calls a method 1 of parent and it prints parent method 1. Let's execute this and see the result. So as expected we got parent method 1 as an output. But overriding will provide us to give the implementation for the child, the specific to the child class. So we can create the same method inside child and we can print child here. And if you try to execute now, we will get the output as child method 1 instead of parent method 1, because child has its own implementation. It won't call a parent method. This is called overriding. So in compile time, during compile time, we don't know which method will call. The compiler doesn't know which method it calls. Only during runtime it comes to know based on the object. The object type is child. So based on this object type, during runtime it will bind one of this method, either this method or this method. So here the object type is child, so it will bind to child's implementation. Let's execute and see the result now. So as you can see we got child method 1. So this type of methods are called overriding method in child. And we have method 2 as well. Suppose if you call a method 2 here, pass any string. Now we will get, for method 2 we will get parent method 2. Let's execute this and see the result. So parent method 2, because child doesn't have method 2 implementation. We also can override this method and let's print as child. And if you execute now, for both methods we will get child implementations, child method 1 and child method 2. So here you can have a question. Suppose if you change c1 is a reference type and new child is an actual object. So let's try to have c1 as parent. So for variable we can have a parent's reference and object we can have a child instance. So what output we will get now? So here it's a parent reference but object is child, and we are calling method 1 and method 2 and both have method 1 implementation and method 2 implementation. Let's execute this and see the result. So again we got child method implementations, because at runtime it checks what exactly the object instance instead of checking the reference. The reference might be anything, but during runtime, it checks only the type of object instance and it will try to call its implementation first, method 1 and method 2. It will go to class child, it will check whether method 1 is there or not. Then it is there, then it will print child method 1. If it is not there, then we will get parent method 1, and for method 2 we will get child method 2. Let's execute and see the result. So parent method 1, as we don't have method 1 implementation in child, and child method 2. So we no need to confuse between the reference and the actual instance type. Methods will be called based on the actual instance types instead of the reference. So this is all about overriding, and there is also one point in overriding. Suppose if you try to implement a method 1, let's say we are implementing method 1 and this is overriding method. Let's restrict the accessor type. This is default and let's restrict to private. So here we will get an error, cannot reduce the visibility of the inherited method from parent. So as this is a default accessor type, it can be public but not private. We can improve the visibility, we can increase the visibility in the child class, but we can't decrease the visibility. So private is very restricting accessor specifier. So we cannot use private, but we can use public, which will increase the visibility. So we won't get an error. So we need to take care about this visibility while overriding the functions from the base class. So this is about overriding, and let's see what overloading. Overloading doesn't require a base class and child class concept. In the same class, we can have different methods with the same name. So let's take any class. Let's take this class and let's have a method addition. Addition will take int a and int b, and we can print a plus b plus c. So a plus b. So this is one method we have in this class, and we can have the method with the same name addition but the different arguments. It can be ABC or it can be another method. Just we can change the type. So here we are not concentrating on these statements, we are just concentrating on the declaration of methods. So we can have a method with the same name and different arguments. Here we have int, here we have 3 integers, and here we have 1 int and 1 string, and we can also have just exchange this string and integer. So here the method name is same but arguments are different. So this is a compile time decision, and during the compile time only we will come to know which method it will call. Let's try to create a parent. So we already have a parent reference, we'll create a new one. So here we can call all those methods what we have created. So here during compile time only we have to choose which method it should call. Suppose I need to add 2 numbers, I will call this method. If I need to pass 3 integers, I will call this method, or if I need to pass 1 integer and 1 string, I will call this method. And if I want to add 3 numbers, I will call this method. So here the method name is same but the arguments are different. So this concept is called overloading, and this can be decided during the compile time. Compiler knows which method it will call after calling this method. So compiler comes to know which method it will call. But in overriding, compiler doesn't know which method it will call, whether child's implementation or parent's implementation. During runtime, it will decide based on the actual instance of the object, not the reference. So this is all about differences between overriding and overloading in Java. I hope you like this video and understood the concepts. If you have any doubts, please comment and please share and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching.